Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I'm Catherine, and it's time for the December 2023 Creative Memories Virtual Crop sketch number 3. I did go a little bit out of order again this month, but I think the wait was going to be worth it once you see what I've come up with for sketch number 3. I hope you all like it. I'm going to be working with the Wanderlust collection, and I'm going to get this switched over here right now for you all. Here we go. Okay, so I have the sketch here, and I have a little more writing on it this time because we're going to be doing kind of a little bit of a different thing with this. My whole inspiration kind of got those banners kind of inspired me a little bit, but with the Wanderlust collection, I just love the chevron arrows border maker cartridge, and I thought, you know what, do we have to do a banner? Maybe not. Let's do some arrows, or do an arrow. And so I pulled out this map looking paper for my base. The back side of it has some zigzags on it. And I also pulled out the word paper, and I went ahead and I punched my chevron arrows and I layered it with this really dark paper that has the, if I can get it to focus, there you go, the cameras on the back of it. And it has just kind of the dark with the, there you go, kind of marble-ish look on the front of it, or the white lines anyways. And so this is what I'm going to run through the bottom of my page on both sides. That is something that actually is on the sketch, amazingly enough. And I'm going to go ahead and get this down on these 2 pages first, because that's kind of what's going to anchor both of our pages. And if you saw my other live stream, you saw I am still suffering a little bit from having the shingle shot the other day, but I'm powering through it. We're going to get this last sketch done, and then I'm going to go have some dinner and probably go to bed early. But in the meantime, let's do this. So here I used the hexagon paper that has the red on the back for part of my arrow, and the airplane paper. It's a light blue. Take my word for it, I guess. It has this kind of a newsprint effect on the back side of it. Oh, there you go. You can see it better that way. So what I did was I cut these at, what did I cut these at? This is why I write this down. 4.5 inches by 12 inches. And then I cut it on our 45-degree line on our trimmer. So let me pull out my trimmer here real quick and show you this is your 45-degree line. I put my paper in, I lined up the end, the point of the paper here. Not there, sorry. I lined it up when it was straight. Here we go. Lined it up on the 45-degree line this way. Whoops. Okay. Told you I'm suffering a little bit. All right, so you put your point on your cutting line and you line it up with the 45-degree line coming across here. So you want the point there, that there, and then you're going to cut and you're going to get your diagonal. But when you go to cut your opposite one, make sure to flip your paper if you want to create an arrow like I did. Okay, so let's continue with the left side of the paper first. And so it'll make sense as we go along, hopefully. I also did find this really cute 3x6 mat that has a kind of the north, south, east, west on it. There you can see I cut it in half because the other half was more brown and it just didn't work with the colors on the page for me, because I am funny about color sometimes. So, but I liked having the little compass and the idea of having that on my page. So I just went ahead and cut off the other part of it, and I'll use the other part of that on another page eventually. We'll see what happens. But here we go. All right, so I kind of anchored the point with the repositionable tape runner, and I'm going to add just a little bit of our other tape runner here, going through. Oh, come on. There we go. Ah, okay. Sometimes when you get a new tape runner, they do that because it feels looser than when they get towards the end and they're getting a little tighter and you have to use a little more pressure. All right, so here this is going to run through our page. I'm lining it up along the right side of my page here, but I don't want to push too hard because I want to get this guy centered in between wherever I land with these. So I'm going to kind of do this maybe, just also lightly, and then I'll probably also pull out my zero centering ruler just to make sure I have it centered. Oops. And of course, since I didn't push down on this one, on this other end, I've got it moving on me again. Okay, there we go. There's one part. Take this off. Okay, so I'm going to press down on there. I'm going to put this one on top of it. So in a way, we're kind of creating just an extra large banner instead of doing two smaller ones. And zero centering ruler. So we need... Yeah, it's not going to be exactly centered with the page. We want it kind of in between these two. I don't want it, let's see, 4.5 and 4.5. So there we go. Now we can get it centered at the twos. So I lined it up with my points there because I want my journal box to be under. If I can maneuver my page, and of course I need my multi-purpose tool, I still haven't managed to find, so we're just going to use these. Let's see, I think I am. My tweezers, because I use the repositionable tape. I'm trying to get this lifted up here. There we go. Okay. Under you go. There we go. Okay. Whew. Had to work a little harder for that one. Okay. I do need to find that multi-purpose tool, otherwise I'm going to have to order another one, which... maybe just as well at this point. Okay, so let me finish with the left side of this page first. So I have a couple of larger mats here that we're going to place on to our page. So I have, this one actually was a scrap from another project I did, and this one I cut for this one. So this is 3¼ inches by 8 inches. And the other one is, hang on, 4.5 by 7¾ So I wanted my more narrow one to be just a little bit longer than this other one here, because I thought it would look just more balanced that way. And then when I went to put them on again, I just wasn't... I actually wish I'd made this one just a little bit longer. So instead we're going to kind of offset it a little bit. I'm going to give it about 1/4 inch border here. And it's about 1/2 inch in between. And I am kind of covering up this little part up here, but that's okay. I do have a couple of embellishments to go at the top. But now we are going to actually put these together so we can get our next pieces on for our arrow going across our page. So I'm continuing with the same papers. I have the hexagons and I have my airplanes. And these triangles are what come off when you cut these pieces here. And we're going to use that to make the point of our arrow here at the top of our page. Look at that. It all works out where we can use up some of our scraps, and I love that. That's one of my favorite things, is not leaving extra scraps to try to figure out what to do with later. There we go. I'm going to run this across from here and this one underneath it. And here we go with this one. Whoops, let's get those lined up first again. Just that way I know I'm at the edge of the page and I'm running it pretty good length across, so that way our arrow is going to make sense here. Layer that up just a little bit. Okay, move my zero centering ruler, and here we go. Let's get these done. Oops. And I really did try to figure out a way to put this on so my airplanes wouldn't be upside down, but you know what? It's okay. Maybe just don't pick the airplane paper, or maybe pick something with more of a design that's more geometric, so that way you don't notice as much that when you go to, because my airplanes are running across my page, when you go to put on the point, it winds up needing to be upside down in order to create the triangle at the end of your arrow. So, where am I here? This way. And this is how it works out for us. And this way. So the long side goes to the top and to the bottom. It's the long part here that we cut to create that there, if that makes any sense. And the paper I use does have a little bit of an ombre effect, which I didn't really notice until I went to put my arrow together. And then I was like, oh, that's a little bit darker up there. And you know what? It's okay. It kind of just highlights our arrow a little bit more. Okay, so I also took our word paper that had the stripes on the back, which I think I forgot to show you that on the other side here. I cut 2 more mats that are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and those are just going to go here. You can just layer it directly in, or you can cover up the seam a little bit, and I think that's what I'm going to do, is just cover up a little part of the seam. It's about 1/8 of an inch over, and that's where I'm going to put my mats. Oops. I don't stick them together to each other first. There we go. So this one's going to go over just a hair. Kind of, it lines up basically with this point here. And this one's going to line up basically, whoops, let's make sure our words are going where you can read them. This is going to line up here. This is going up just a hair and over. There we go. Okay. All right, that's taking a lot of focus. Okay. So, how's about that? Instead of one small banner, we've got another arrow to kind of go with our chevron arrows along the bottom of our page here. It's kind of fun. And then we're going to add the tourist mode embellishment over here, going across. And I found a green arrow in our embellishments. And so this is something where the embellishment pack only had 1 green, but it had 2 browns. And like I said, I just thought that the brown, even though we're having a little bit here, a little tiny pops of brown, there's a little bit of brown in the lettering here, also from our embellishment pack, but I don't want to have too much brown. I liked that these both still had this green color that's in our paper. And then I also found this really cool other compass. So we have the 2 north, south, east, and west here. And then we also are going to add an explorer. And I thought about maybe putting that on foam square, but I don't think I'm going to. Let's just keep it simple. And oops, let's have the north going up. And then our explorer is going to go below it. And I'm going to use the repositionable because I am not feeling that confident in my taping abilities tonight to think I'm going to get that regular tape runner in between there. So we have our explorer, and there we go. So it's kind of complex, but it's also kind of simple, I guess, if you will. I don't know. Here we go. Hopefully my explaining it helped to simplify a lot of it, but there's our sketch again. And so basically I just took these two banners and instead turned it into the one arrow going through the page. And then I did these say 6x4, but I did the 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And then I worked with the scrap I had, and you can put two photos on here and two photos on here, or you can kind of take one photo and just make it a vertical photo. Yes, vertical. So let me hold the left side up for you to see a little more closely. And here we go. I really like it. Really just seemed to come together well. I like the colors work, which is always one of the things I strive for. And it looks beautiful, ready for our photos to go on to this page. So thank you for watching and bearing with me as I am trying to work through. Haven't had this shot, and I'm going to go have some dinner and relax a bit. I hope you all have a good rest of your weekend. Leave me a thumbs up if you like how this one turned out. And that's going to be it. Until next time.